Morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever may be the case. Again, my name is Cecil Young. I am a Bridgeport resident from Bridgeport, and I am an American citizen. And I need y'all to give me some attention about the issues that I've been talking about here for the last month or so, because it just seems like I just can't get the justice that I deserve and what I've been denied. You know, as a whistleblower, and they said, well, this month was Whistleblowers Month. Well, you see here, I blew the whistle about contaminated dirt piles at a city Bridgeport Health Department, okay, with State Rep Ernest Newton at the time. And you see these contaminated dirt piles that have been there for a long time, and as a result of me complaining, I ended up basically losing my job because of that. And what insults me is more so about the fact that I lost my job because of me complaining and filing the complaint with a state official. And it's like it don't matter. It don't make no sense. Now I've been denied the right to speak at the City Hall Common Council. Here's 3 letters denying me the right to speak at the council because they don't like me using the nigger word. Now, you know something? I've been working for the city of Bridgeport for 27 and a half years. And I don't get off on calling it the nigger word. But if I have to use the nigger word to get somebody's attention, I will do that. And that's what I did. I used it 3 different times to get their attention. What would you do after 17 years of being treated like a slave? I am an American citizen, as I said. This is the flag of America. This thing called free speech. And in America, you have a right to express yourself. And as a community activist, as someone who cares about people's rights being violated, no one has the right to tell me I can't speak. Not at a public hearing, not at a public forum where I, as a taxpayer, the homeowner, have to pay taxes to have someone else be to tell me that I can't speak out about what I feel, how they treated me. And I said to them, I don't like using the nigger word, but I use the nigger word to get their attention. Can you believe that after 17 years that word caused them to have to ban me from speaking at City Hall? It's been a year and a half that I've been denied the right to speak at City Hall. And I'm calling on Senator Blumenthal, okay? I'm calling on those of them that are in power to help me get the justice that I've been denied. You know, here that you have the Assistant Attorney General Mitchell, who filed a complaint on my behalf, okay? And he gave me a file number, a case number, okay? And you see this case number up here? For him to turn around and to have them turn around and not to honor this here matter that the Assistant Attorney General Mitchell drew up on my behalf, and he sent it to the state auditors. And the state auditors gave their findings as to what they feel, whether it was wrong or whether it was right. And I'm troubled over the fact that they can't now find my information. The documentation that I've given them pertaining to my rights being violated, pertaining to what I've been complaining about, they can't seem to find those documents. Now, I had accused at the time, okay, labor board commissioners of violating my civil rights. Okay, and then I committed them for committing fraud. Now, I show here Mike Cohad, Gerald Weiner, okay, had no business getting paid for a hearing that was not necessary. But they got paid for a hearing because they knew that they were able to get away with it. And I'm saying to you that Mike Cohad, Gerald Weiner violated my civil rights by committing fraud. And I say to myself, I've said that many a time on this show. Why haven't Gerald Weiner sued me yet for me accusing him of committing fraud by violating the public's trust? That's what he did. Here's evidence of that. He had a hearing pertaining to my medical benefits, knowing good and well that any terminated employee has the right to continue their medical benefits as long as they file a grievance within an ample amount of time. I did that within the period of time that I was supposed to. It troubles me that they ended up ruling against me, not because of me being right or wrong, because of the kickback that they were getting. And it troubled me that they had the audacity to lie on my doctor, Dr. Albert Walters, okay, to give the impression that his doctor's note was literally strips of paper. This is no strips of paper. This is Dr. Albert Walters' letterhead that he gave me to give them, to request that I would be going to see Dr. Wayne for my medical treatments, okay? Yet and still the labor board got this information in black and white in writing, and they called it literally straps of paper. Here was their finding, straps of paper. Out of the 3 labor board commissioners that voted, 1 of them voted in my favor, the other 2 voted against me because of one, okay, Mike Cohad knew good and well that as he was on the terminating board, knew good and well that he should not have been allowed to sit on the medical board without acknowledging the fact that he was a part of the termination board. Now, why didn't he do that? He didn't do it because he got paid several different times. He committed fraud. Mike Cohad committed fraud. Now, I, Cecil Young, say, I am a homeowner. I am a taxpayer. I am an American citizen. I say to them folks that have that kind of power, why don't they sue me, charge me for slander? Why won't they do that? Because they know that I'm telling the truth. And it troubles me because now I got posters made up about telling you how to look up all this information pertaining to my website and the things that I've been involved in over the years, okay? And it shows Mike Cohad, it shows Gerald Weiner and all of the above violate my civil rights. And that should not happen. I've been serving this community for years and years, 24/7, helping to try to get guns off the street, try to make our neighborhoods safe for our kids to come and go and to feel free in the neighborhood that they grew up in. They're not doing it that way no more. Why? Because you find that they have that communication no longer exists in the neighborhood like it used to be when we first growed up in our neighborhoods. And I'm saying to you, here you see me here as a community activist with all of the above police officers in our community. This is what I did on my own. No one made me do this. I myself initiated Deputy Chief Hannes with Chief Hector Torres, and I had all of the commanders in Green Homes Department where my office was located at to deal with these kind of issues that folks are afraid of, crime, drugs, and all the above. Okay, and we made a big difference. I don't do this because I'm trying to get any sensation out of it for myself. I do it because I care about people's rights being violated. And I know that where I came from, we deserve better than what we've been getting. And we can get that. But we're not getting it because oftentimes our leaders end up getting in bed with the Pharaoh and they forget where they come from. And as a result of that, we end up suffering. Now here you will see a poster here with the Citizens Committee. We had a Citizens Committee to empower people. All of these residents that lived on the East End and throughout the city of Bridgeport, we would meet on a weekly basis, okay, to discuss how can we get Mayor Ganem at the time, okay, in 1995, I think it was, when he was mayor, to get him to respond to these leaders who were saying at that time that Mayor Ganem was not really responding to us as much as he should have in the way that he should have. Here it is, you have Fleeta Hudson, okay, who was the town clerk in City Hall, okay, who was saying that Mayor Ganem never even stopped by her office, and she was quite upset about that. Okay, and wanted something to be said about it. And we said to her, let's talk about it. Let's call these elected officials and make them sit down with us and talk about how can we deal with the issues that affect us all. That's what Fleeta Hudson did. We and Councilman James Holloway, Councilman Warren Blunt, okay, you know, here Mayor Ganem, he was also invited to our meetings. We were meeting with Mayor Ganem. We were meeting with Clarence Craig, the Housing Authority Director. We were meeting with Ralph Ford, the district leader from the East End. Ernest Newton, who was a part of our committee. All of these folks basically got jobs from Mayor Ganem. And I'm saying I'm glad for that. I'm glad that Mayor Ganem took it upon himself after hearing the criticism that was being put out about him not honoring people of color in terms of giving them a chance to uplift themselves from the condition that they're in. And yes, he have done that for them. What troubles me is that they have forgot about the people that we brung together to meet their needs, not them getting a job, not them being secure. Now, Ernest is doing good. He's working, living the life of Raleigh. Holloway's doing good. He's working in the Department of City Hall, doing good. I mean, come on. How is it that we got to find ourselves always out here in the middle of the storm trying to help get things done for our people when we're all alone? And it's just have to be that way. You got Senator Gomes here. You got Ralph Ford here. You got Jerry Johnson here. You got Carolyn Nahr, NACP president. You also got Julian Braxton, the former NACP president. These are the kind of meetings we should be having with these kind of folks to help us deal with the crime, to help us deal with calling our people to live in fear. Our people shouldn't have to be living in fear with gunplay going 24/7. We can do a whole lot more than what we've been doing, and here's a good example of that because I was able to show you that this could be done. I was able to get this done with the Bridgeport Police Department, and I'm not a cop, I'm a community activist. These are my ideas that I put together on behalf of the Housing Authority and on behalf of our people in the city of Bridgeport to help make it safe for them. I wasn't getting paid extra to do this. I supervise these police details 7 days a week, around the clock, okay, and I enjoyed every bit of it because I was able to make it safe for those kids to go out in the courtyards to play. I was able to make it safe for those residents to get on those elevators without worried about somebody pissing in the elevators and sticking them up and all the above. All of that cut down because of the details that I was in charge of on behalf of the Bridgeport Housing Authority. And you see, who else do you ever see from a community standpoint have community police officers in the neighborhood like I had them? Me on my own initiated this. And I'm saying to the police officers, I've learned a lot from being involved with them over the years that I've been involved with these community police officers. Because I've been dealing with this stuff since Mayor Beasley was mayor back in 68 or 98 or whatever it might have been. But I say this to be saying that our police officers need to have sensitivity community training. Okay, you know, the other day I was watching Chief Porter talking about the agility test, the physical agility and all the above that these people have to go through in order to become a police officer. I would like to see these police officers be trained in sensitivity, be trained on how to deal with folks that come from the neighborhoods that we come from, how to deal with those community police officers that should be trained. They should be trained on how to communicate with these residents. Because most of the problems that we got would not get out of hand if they just had that kind of training. And so I'm pleading with the police department. I'm pleading with the community. I offered Mayor Ganem my help freely, voluntarily, to supervise these police details on behalf of the city, to help make it safe for all of us. because I live here, my kids live here, my family live here, and we want to make it safe for those folks who voted for you over the years. And it's not being done. And it's not being done because we find ourselves, okay, with leaders that then got in bed with the system and have forgot where they came from. I can't do that. I've been doing this stuff for the last 50 years. And yes, I'm tired of being treated like a slave. Back in the olden days, okay, they would tie you up to a tree and whoop you and beat you like a slave and beat the skin off your back. Now they're beating us up with using an ink pen. They're using an ink pen. And they're using people that look like you and me to persecute people like you and me who care about one another. I care about what's going on in this city. I care about what's going on in this state. But I need your help. I need you to contact the Connecticut Post, ICC, Channel 12, and all the above, and ask them why aren't they not exposing what I'm trying to bring out here that's going to be able to help make a difference in our neighborhoods, to help make it safe in our neighborhoods. This is a proof example. I got evidence of showing how community policing can really make the kind of difference it needs to make. And I've supervised these details for 4 to 5 years in Green Homes, Quantic Apartments, okay, P.T. Barnum, and we cut down on crime to a degree without locking up anybody. How did we do it? Because we were there. How did we do it? Because we believe in crime prevention, not apprehension, crime prevention. No sooner than you lock somebody up, they're going to get back out. And no sooner than you lock somebody up, somebody else is going to fill in that void. So the question is, what can we do to avoid all of that kind of stuff from happening anyway? You avoid it by training officers to spend the kind of quality time it takes to get to know who's on that corner, to get to know who's doing what in that neighborhood, and to get to know folks that if they have a problem, they can know that they can come to you and talk to you without fear of them being caught up and being persecuted for them talking to you, okay? Because that happened to me one time, okay? In P.T. Barnum, where I grew up at. One of the brothers that I grew up with, his brother looked at me as always talking with the police from time to time because, again, I was the superintendent of P.T. Barnum. I was a community activist in P.T. Barnum for the last 40 years, okay? So I would talk with police. I would talk with politicians. I would talk with any and everybody because that's what it takes. Talk helps you to understand what is going on. It takes talk to help you understand how we can achieve the American dream and make our neighborhoods safe and sound. That's all I've ever been about. And I'm saying to you, you go to my website, you look up my website, and you go there and you try to see, how can I help Cecil Caesar Young get back what they took from me? They took 17 years of me being treated like a slave. And that's why I said that. I'm tired of being treated like a slave. And I said, I'm a black man, okay? I'm not a slave. I'm an American citizen who have a right to be heard. And these folks violated my civil rights. And I'm asking you to go to YouTube, look it up, okay? Go to Soundview TV, look it up what I've been saying. I got 5 or 6 different shows that I put on here that you can download and look at everything I've said here, and you will find that everything I said has been consistent. And now to have me be told by the Assistant Attorney General's office tongue that they can't find my files. They claim that they contacted the Freedom of Information. I didn't file no Freedom of Information complaint. I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office at the time, who was Attorney General Blumenthal. And Attorney General Blumenthal assigned an Assistant Attorney General Mitchell, okay, who repaired the case and gave me a file number, a case number, that I could refer any other information I have that would pertain to me getting the justice that I've been denied. Okay, now the auditors did their report in 2010. Now the question is, if the auditors did their report in 2010, how come they can't find it? How come they can't find it? 2010, the auditors completed their report of my complaints. And the question is, you got 2 different auditors, the Republican and the Democrat. Now I want to find out from a Republican and the Democrat auditors who did this report, what was their findings? Because now the Attorney General tongue is telling me that they can't find any of my files. They don't know where they are. They're gone. Huh? How do you tell someone who's been given the kind of respect that I was given, which was giving me a file number, case number, and all the above, okay, that if I'm having any problems, to file up on this here with these numbers and so on and so on and so on, and then to turn around and not have nobody respond to me by telling me that they can't find my file? This was 2010. Blumenthal was the senator at that time. And I'm saying that the Attorney General at that time, and I'm saying to Attorney General Blumenthal, please, Senator Blumenthal, now, will you please contact Attorney General Tongue and tell him to contact the state auditors to find out what did they do with their findings, because they gave their opinion based on my complaint that I filed with them. I allegedly committed fraud. Now, I accuse General Wayner, Mike Cohad, Albert Murphy of violating my civil rights. Now, the question is, why aren't they coming at me? Why ain't they suing me? Why? Because they know good and well, okay, that they will lose. Okay? And I'm saying to you, it's hard to get a lawyer to want to go against these people because they got power. The labor board people got big power. They got awesome power. And I'm saying, why am I being persecuted? Why am I being left out here to defend for myself when it ain't been about me, it's been about we? And I need your support. 2010, and we're in 2023, and you tell me you can't even find what happened to my files? And then the first excuse you used in the beginning was that you contacted the Freedom of Information. I didn't file a Freedom of Information complaint. This is from the Attorney General's office, okay, who told the state auditors what to look at. And he looked at what I said, which was the complaint of them committing fraud. And that's what they did. They committed fraud and getting away with it. And that's what shouldn't happen. Look at it here. I mean, come on now. Got paid. Look at the amount of money they got paid. Look at the amount of hearings they got paid. They didn't win the world. You know what makes it so bad? I got married on March 6, 2016. Okay, my wife was put on my insurance policy that same day. 2006. Okay. But in 2016, okay, I got married on 2016, I think it was, right? Yeah.
16.
Yeah, 2016, and I said I would be out for a colon exam on the 17th, on March the 17th, right? Or was it?
2003, 16,
Yeah, okay, 1606, whatever. But the bottom line is that here is the problem. I sent Attorney General Tung another copy of this same matter showing where they committed fraud, where they committed a conflict of interest. How can you sit on a jury and know good and well that you should expose the fact that you have a conflict of interest, which they had? Mike Cohat should have told Mr. Murphy, Gerald Weiner, that Gerald, we voted that Mr. Young was terminated because he was not at work. When you know good and well that that was not the case. Because I showed you documentation in black and white, which you can download and find out and see the time card, see what was signed by my supervisor. I have also audio tapes of Dr. Evans confirming the fact that I was at work and that she accepted me back to work. That is why I'm saying to you, this should not happen in America. I'm not a troublemaker. I'm not an agitator. I care about this city. I care about these people. Help me, y'all. I need a lawyer, somebody that's not afraid of the labor board, of these commissioners. They're powerful. And I understand how powerful they are. If you recall not too long ago, there was a number of state employees who got terminated because they had tapped into some kind of federal funds that was going around the state at the time. And the governor at the time terminated a number of those employees. Do you know that the state labor board commissioner ruled that the governor was wrong and he had to reinstate those persons back to work even though he knew that they misused state funds? Come on, man. You talking about whistleblowers? What, black whistleblowers don't count? Am I not getting no response because I'm a black whistleblower? Well, Gerald Weiner, with the Attorney General Blumenthal at the time felt like I had a good enough case. And that's why he assigned it to Mitchell. And Mitchell assigned it to the public auditors. And the auditor's report was done in 2010 because somebody helped find out what the state auditors found and let the Attorney General Thung know what's going on because he's claiming that he can't find anything. He checked around and they can't find nothing at all. And as a result of him can't find nothing, does that mean that I got to be denied the right, my due process under law as a taxpayer, as a homeowner? I'm an American citizen. My rights should be honored, not violated. And I'm pleading with whomever hears this program, if you know of a lawyer that has the audacity and the integrity to want to come forward and to want to challenge these people that violated my civil rights, I'm willing to pay them whatever it takes to get them to do what needs to be done for me, to get the justice that I've been denied, because there go the grace of God is me, there go the grace of God could be you tomorrow. So let us not take for granted that what I'm saying, it need to be ignored. It need to be responded to. It need to be honored. Huh? I mean, I'm 73 years old. I've been out there for 60-something years fighting for people's rights. Huh? I saved Officer Tony Simmons' life, who was gunned down on Stratford Avenue years ago when he was trying to enforce no law. It was me who picked him up off the street when he was shot down. And I dragged that police officer in the back seat of my car and took him to the hospital and saved his life. Huh? That was never mentioned in the Connecticut Post and TV on the radio. Why? Because a friend of mine was the one who shot him? I ain't had nothing to do with he shooting somebody else. But I knew that that officer did not need to be on that ground. He did not have the right to be laying on that ground being shot by him trying to do what he was paid to do, which was to enforce no law on the avenue. There was no law on the avenue because at that time there was a lot of killing going on. There was a lot of shooting going on. So there was enforcing no law. So that's what he was doing. So when he got shot down, okay, I thank God, okay, that I was able to get my keys from Craig Kelly, who was a retired lieutenant with the Bridgeport Fire Department, who at that time, back in the days when we were younger, he was a part of the Panther group, and I was my cadet corps group, and we would all fellowship and communicate together and do different things together. But the bottom line is that when it comes time to helping people and protecting people's rights and doing what I got to do it, I'm going to do that. I believe in helping those of them when I'm in a position to do that. That's what God has put me here for, to help those of them that can't help themselves. And I love what I do. I want to continue doing what I do. But if I don't do no more, I want you to keep in mind that what we need with our police officers is to be trained in sensitivity. And I would like to be a part of that training program to see how they would approach a person of color versus a person, and a white person. How they would approach a Puerto Rican person. How would they approach a person that got money and a person that don't got money. They need to be trained in these kind of techniques on how to communicate with folks to get the kind of response they need from them that's going to help them when they need the help that they need. To deal with the kind of things that are going on. People ain't going to talk to you if they don't feel comfortable. They're not going to talk to you if they don't feel like you're going to protect their rights or protect what they're going to say to you. But you can't protect people that you can't get close enough to talk to and communicate with if you don't get out them cars. So instead of just talking about we doing community policing, show me how community policing and what does it look like. Can I ride down Stratford Avenue and see community policing doing what? Sitting in the car, outside the car with the gangs on the corners, walking and talking. What are they doing? Those are the kind of things they need to be trained on how to do, so that when things do go down, at least they have some kind of clue or idea as to who to contact, who to talk to. It's good to train them to be strong. It's good to train them on how to put the dog on them. It's good to train them on how to lock them down and to beat them down. But teach them on how to respect one another before you approach them, because now we're being told that most of the folks that we're running up on got some kind of a psychological problem. So now we feel they got to have a psychiatrist to ride around with the police. And I say that's great too, but you can't get a psychiatrist to ride around with all these police officers in the city. They don't have that kind of money. But if you train these officers, okay, and have them be trained by somebody like me who done had the experience on doing this, this is not me just walking and talking. This is me doing it. This is me doing it. I ain't just talking about how community policing works. I done showed how it works. Look at that. Chief Hector Torres, Deputy Chief Hannes, Boston. I mean, these are chief of police of the Bridgeport Police Department, Sergeant Ortez, Sergeant different. I mean, these are people that are in charge of making our streets safe, making our communities safe. And I'm saying to you, I've trained them, I've worked with them, and I've been able to get a whole lot done, and I want to continue getting it done. And if I can't be a part of that, because I offered my volunteer support to the mayor and to the city, okay? I offered it to Wanda Jeter, who's one of our district leaders now, I understand, in the West End and P.T. Barnum. I gave her a package of my community policing details and things that I've been doing back in the days, okay? I mean, and Wanda know about me because she was the one who told me one day, Cecil, the police was out here and they held out. Tell Cecil to stop calling downtown and harassing us to come down here because we've been out here. When they'd been out there for a hot minute and they left the minute after they got there. So yes, I called to find out why did they leave. So now they come up there now and pull up in the courtyard and holler out, tell Cecil we're here. In the meanwhile, to try to get me taken out because of me trying to make sure that they do what they're getting paid to do. This should be a #1 story. That can you believe that me, Cecil Young, was in charge of all of these police officers? A high school dropout? A kid from the hood? That I had the authority, God gave me the authority, the ability to be able to contact these folks and to put them in a position where they could hire me and pay me $625 a week to make sure that they stayed on their posts and did their job the way they're supposed to do it. That's what I was hired to do, and I made them do that. And they did it. Look at the sergeants. Everybody's smiling. Ain't nobody mad. I get along good with all of them. There was only 2 sergeants I had a problem with. And the 2 that I had a problem with, they didn't last that long, okay? Because they knew that my goals and objectives were to be nice, to be humble, and to not necessarily lock them up, but to try to lock things down and to control things, to keep things at a point where we ain't have to worry about people coming out worried about being shot or being caught between gunplay and to and from. I am concerned about our people. I'm concerned about our city, and I'm pleading with you again. Help me get me an attorney to vindicate me, to clear my name up for all of the good that I've been trying to do for this city, and I want to continue doing it, but I need somebody to come up and say, hey, hold up, man. We may not like this brother for whatever may be the reason, but if he's speaking truth to power, we should get behind that. It's not about black and white. It's about right and wrong, and I'm saying y'all know I'm right. And since you know I'm right, come to my call. Respond to my call, okay? Now, I want to get some response from people down the road about how do they feel about me using the nigger word, because I don't like using the nigger word. But if I got to make that point to get my message across, I will do that. Because nigger word, to me, is nothing new. You still hear it on TV 24/7. You hear it on the radio. It's not the word, it's how you use the word. If I call you a cracker and you a white man, you ain't going to like that. If I call you a spick and you a Puerto Rican, you ain't going to like that. So no, I'm not going to call you a nigger, and I'm not going to like that either. But I said if I feel like I'm being treated like a nigger, and that's what I said, I'm tired of being treated like a nigger by people that look like you and me, huh? I have a right to be tired of being treated like one when I'm not one. I am a black American. I was born here in the state of Connecticut in the city of Bridgeport. I am a full-fledged American citizen who've been denied the right to speak at City Hall at public hearings because they don't like me using that word. And all they had to do was investigate my allegations, bring up the evidence instead of trying to cover up for a crime that was committed during the Breezy's administration, because that's when it was done, when Breezy was mayor back then. So Joe Ganim, back off from what I'm trying to say. Don't let your city attorney, what's that lady's name? Jeanette Hawkins? Janine Hawkins. She perpetrated a fraud by giving the impression to the feds that Cecil was a disgruntled employee, and that was an outright lie. And I say she's a liar, and you should lock her up for lying to the feds. The feds, you got the evidence, lock her up for lying on me and lying to y'all. I heard that's against the law, huh? I see this U.S. attorney, assistant U.S. attorney on TV the other day talking about human rights, civil rights. Well, my rights are being violated, and I say to the U.S. attorney's office, the federal attorney's office, help me get this justice that I've been denied before I just blow up and just leave it alone and just go under a rock and just say heck with it. But I don't want to do that. 73 years, old man, trying to do the best I can for our people. It should not be that way. But help me, y'all, before it's too late. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope to God that you respond to my request and my concern, because it ain't about me, it's about we. And again, that's why I bring you the documentation and the records to let you see that I'm not just talking, I'm giving you what I can back up. There's one thing to come in here and talk. I can back up what I'm talking, and that's why I said, please help me get the justice I've been denied. Thank you, Connie. Hope to see you next week.